Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
We'll do Fence Riders in a sec,
Yeah.
but I want to spend 5 minutes on the Guardians Rockies series finale yesterday. Logan Allen, a disappointing performance to say the least. He gave up 6 runs in 2 innings, or less than 2 innings, and that is now 3 straight subpar starting pitching performances for the Guardians against the Rockies. Is it just Coors Field, just a blip on the radar, or is there any reason to be concerned? I know we've talked about the pitching staff in general and our concerns about that for the entire season, but was this kind of the nail in the coffin that the Guards have to make a move?
I don't really have any major – I mean, we've said all along they need to add a starting pitcher, and we've talked about a few guys. By the way, the first guy I mentioned when we first started in April talking about the Guardians need to trade for a pitcher, I mentioned Jesus Luzardo with the Marlins. Remember that?
Yep.
I was the first guy I mentioned.
Yep.
And they're terrible, and he got off to a bad start this year. If you look at his numbers, so he got off to a bad start. I don't know how many starts it was, 3-4 starts. And then he got hurt, and he missed a couple of weeks. I think since he's come back, he's made at least 3, if not 4 or 5 starts. I bet he's got an ERA under 2, maybe under 1 since he's come off the injured list. He's been phenomenal, back to the pitcher we've seen the last few years.
He's allowed 5 earned runs in 25 innings for a 1.75 ERA.
There you go, 1.75 ERA since coming back off the IL. He's been absolutely lights out pitching on that god-awful team. So that is I mentioned Kikuchi last week, and I like him. But Jesus Luzardo, I believe, has 3 years of team control left.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect guy for them. Now, you're giving up a lot.
You're giving up a lot.
A lot.
More than we've talked about for Bichette.
That's
Kikuchi,
right.
All that.
But you have to give up a lot. But he's your ace.
Yeah.
Now hopefully Gavin Williams or whatever. I mean, if you had a starting 3, if they're healthy, potentially, of Luzardo, Gavin Williams, and Bybee, that's a dangerous 1-2-3 in the playoffs.
For the next couple of years.
And you'd have it for at least 3 years, those guys.
You know something I thought of yesterday that I hadn't thought of this name before? It's not the Luzardo category.
Yeah.
But it will help them immensely and get through this year. Luis Severino with the Mets on a 1-year deal, manageable, $13 million. He's having a decent year. They're not going anywhere. That makes a lot of sense.
And you would not have to give up nearly. Now he's not as good as Luzardo, but he has the Luzardo upside.
Yes,
he hasn't pitched at that level in a couple of years. He's still pretty young. I actually like that a lot.
It would cost you a top 20, 25 prospect in your system.
Yeah, you can trade one good prospect, not an elite prospect.
Yes,
and
it fits financially.
Yes,
$13 million contract I think it is for this year, and you're getting a prorated portion of that. Yeah. So I don't want to steal Zach Meisel's thunder, but I was talking to Zach yesterday. We missed a guy on Toronto. It's not Kikuchi. It's Gausman.
How many years he got left?
I think 2, and Toronto would have to eat some of the money on it.
Yeah.
But
I would take – I know Barrios' contract is huge, but I would take any of their top 4 starters.
Yeah.
Bassett, Kikuchi, Gausman, or Barrios. And Barrios doesn't work financially, but I'd love the Guardians to get any of those 4 guys.
Gausman and Bichette. Again, it's going to cost you a package. That's going to cost you a mint. Yeah. But what it would do to this franchise.
Come on. I mean, if the Guardians went crazy, let's say go crazy, and they traded and got Gausman and Bichette, then made a separate trade.
I don't think they're doing all that.
And we'll say, if they made the separate trade, now I can't do Luzardo because I've already given up too much.
Yes.
I get Severino also.
Yeah. Severino is very doable.
If he was my 4th starter in the playoffs, if I had a 4 of Gausman, Williams, Bybee, and Severino as my 4 in the playoffs,
honestly, Severino is probably number 2 on that list.
Whatever order he's a bit more veteran, but whatever.
Young kids.
Whatever order you want to put him in, those are 4 potentially number 1, number 2 starters.
Yeah.
And then you got one of the best bullpens, if not the best bullpen, definitely the best closer.
Yeah.
And you got a shortstop to go, which is their biggest weak spot on the offense. Man, in terms of this series, the pitching was awful. It is Coors, so I don't want to read too much into it. However, as Mike pointed out before the show, Coors hasn't been Coors this year. I do think it's part of that is because the Rockies are an absolutely awful team, maybe the worst team in baseball. And their lineup absolutely stinks.
Yeah.
But it was that same lineup that has been terrible that destroyed the Guardians' pitching in this series.
Part of that is baseball. Weird things happen, and you can't overreact to one series in a 6-month season. But it's certainly something to circle and now see going forward because I think all of us do feel like it's only a matter of time before some of this gets exposed with the pitching. I've never been a big Logan Allen fan, so I'm not surprised that he's necessarily struggling. Gavin Williams can't get back here soon enough. Finally, maybe
Yeah, rehab start tonight, the first one.
Yeah,
supposedly.
So hopefully, I mean, he's still going to need 3-4 rehab starts
at least.
Minimum. So
Yeah, no,
he's still a month away.
Yeah, I mean, when is the All-Star break? He'd be back before if the All-Star break was 2 weeks earlier, they'd probably wait till after.
Yeah.
I think they'll try to get him back for 2-3 starts.
He won't be back before July.
Yeah, maybe the last week of June.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
I mean, he could get 4 starts.
I mean, today's the 30th. Okay,
Right.
that's 20 days.
Yeah,
That's 3 weeks.
He could be back.
Guess.
Late. I'm saying the 25th, the 26th, something like that.
Maybe.
But that's at best case scenario, and
Right.
that's half the season already.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
For something that was supposed to be 2 weeks.
But the good news is he won't have a lot of taxiing.
Taxing.
His arm won't be taxed very much if he just pitches the second half of the season. I'm not going to overreact to one series, although it is odd that the Guardians have mostly played great baseball, and their 2 worst series by far for the last 6 weeks, really, or really the whole season, has been losing 2 of 3 to the Rockies and 3 of 4 to the White Sox, who may be the 2 worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
It's baseball, man.
Yeah.
It's weird.
In the last just 2.5 weeks, they've gone 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 5 against the White Sox and Rockies, and I think 12 and 1 against everybody else. which is odd. Earl, you worked up about it?
No, it's one game. I think we've played great baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done damn well on this road trip.
Yes.
So you can't win every single game. Logan Allen had pitched pretty good prior to this start right here. I thought his last 3 starts was pretty solid.
Yeah, he's been excellent lately.
Even when the Guardians had got behind, the
Yeah.
offense kind of picked them up, but you didn't really get much from your 2 through 5 hitters like we've typically been getting. Yeah. I know they all had a hit, but it was like 1 RBI between the 3 or 4 of them. So
can't do it every night.
yeah, it's one game, and then Colorado found a offense, and I know they haven't been good offensively, especially at home throughout this season. So it is what it is. It's one series. We come back home, we'll take care of business.
I'll tell you something. This may shock people. I am more locked in, and part of it's because they're playing terribly right now, but it's not just that. I am more locked into the Guardians than I am to the Cubs.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should be.
Only took a decade.
Now, I'm not going to lie. If they played again in the World Series, the Cubs are my team. I would root for them.
Sure, you should.
And obviously, I root for the Guardians against anybody else.
I do not like the Cubs at all.
Well, it's unfortunate because if the Cubs had played anybody else but the Guardians, probably everybody here would have rooted for the Cubs. And obviously, vice versa, myself and I'm sure every other Cub fan would have rooted for the Guardians, the Indians, if they had played any other team. I'm just, first of all, I host a Guardians show. I love talking baseball.
Yep.
I want the Guardians to be good because then there's more interest in the team.
Yep.
And for the people that like crap on baseball, I get crapping on the owner. I get that people do that, and I get ticked off of the owner too. But I love the idea of like sticking it to the baseball haters with the Guardians being good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm working on a story now on just like the path that they took and the fact that we killed them all winter for not signing free agents.
Deservedly so.
And then and I'm not letting them off the hook because there's still glaring holes.
Yes.
Up and down this roster. But by God, I was talking to one person in the organization who's like, the winter is the worst time for us. We get destroyed every winter.
Yeah.
We have to get to the season, and then we play well, and then everyone forgets about the winter.
I just think it's always a situation with this team that when you don't have expectations for them, they seem to surprise you. When you expect the Guardians to be good, they disappoint you. Coming off that playoff run a couple of years ago, coming into the next season,
lately that's been the case. Lately that's been the case. I mean, we had expectations for 2017, and they were great that year.
So
they lost in the playoffs, but go ahead, Mike.
We're going to do some no fence riders about the Guardians. I don't think we've ever done no fence riders Guardians edition before, so I'm very excited for this. If you're in the